Hi, and welcome to Incentives Management Group in its interview series, The Top 5 Fastest Growing States. For 25 years, Incentives Management Group has been helping corporations reduce costs and increase investment ROI by obtaining state incentives for clients who are investing and adding jobs either at a current location or locating a new site. In the top 5 fastest growing states, we examined the reasons for their growths and what sets them apart. My guest today is the president and CEO of the Arizona Commerce Authority, Sandra Watson. Arizona ranks number 2 in the top 5 fastest growing states. Over 10 years covered by the ranking, Arizona's growth was 20%, which translates to 7.6 million jobs and people added to Arizona. During her 25 years in leadership positions in Arizona's economic development community, Sandra has helped more than 1,000 companies that have committed to invest nearly $45 billion in capital and create more than 160,000 jobs. Now let's talk with Sandra and learn what Arizona has done and what it will be doing to outpace 48 other states in growth. Sandra, it's great to have you on our recording today, and appreciate you sharing some time with us and your thoughts on the growth in Arizona.
Thanks, Marty. I appreciate it.
What, in your judgment, are the most important factors that have contributed to Arizona being one of the fastest population growth states in the U.S.?
I would say that Arizona is open for business. We're very fortunate that we have a Governor Doug Ducey, who is an incredible leader. He comes from the private sector. He's made it his mission to make Arizona the best place for business. And we have really benefited from his thoughtfulness, his policies, and his extensive focus on Arizona and Arizona being the best place to be. Not only as a manufacturer or a business looking to expand their operations, but also a very dynamic place for entrepreneurs.
What are the components of the state's strategy? Do you have a specific strategy that you're pursuing?
Absolutely. So when we were established in 2011 as the state's economic development organization, we engaged the private sector in developing our strategy. And our focus has been on business attraction, business expansion, and business creation. So we developed a very comprehensive strategy to ensure that businesses had the resources they need in order to expand and grow in our state.
Terrific. Let's switch gears for a second and tell me about your background. You and I were having a chat just before we started the recording, but tell us a little bit about you.
Yes, well, I was originally born and raised in Canada, moved out to Arizona in 1992, and been very active in the economic development field here in Arizona since then. I've had over 30 years of leadership experience in business attraction, expansion, working with innovators and entrepreneurs, focused on economic policy as well, and of course, workforce development. We know that every decision that's being made these days is all about talent, and we're very focused on ensuring that we've got the talent here necessary for companies to grow.
Did you have in the back of your mind in college that you might be doing something like this? What was the direction that you initially started out in? And is it the same as what you're doing now?
Well, you know, I always thought I'd be in the private sector. I graduated with a business degree, and I was very focused on maybe establishing my own business and being an entrepreneur. But I fell into the field of economic development and immediately loved it, working with businesses from every industry, large and small businesses, decision makers who are looking to enhance their business opportunities. And it just was such an exciting field, and I've never left it.
That's terrific. So I think we know from published material and so forth, and from the brief sketch you've given us, who you are as the professional businesswoman. Who are you as the person? What's behind the day-to-day operations at Commerce?
Well, I really emphasize servant leadership. In this field, obviously, we work for the state, communities, policymakers, academia, and bringing all of the various interest groups together to ensure that we're all aligned in growing our state's economy. Our focus has always been on creating a very sustainable and vibrant economy so that businesses can succeed. So my style is very direct and inclusive. We're a very collaborative state. We work with all of our stakeholders and primarily focus on building a very diverse and sustainable economy.
So it doesn't sound like you have much time available to you, but in the off hours when you do have time available, what are your interests and how do you spend your time?
I spend my time with my children. I have 3 beautiful children and I'm very focused on my family. So I spend most of my time when I'm not working doing things with my kids.
Okay, terrific. So how has the pandemic impacted your state's economy?
Well, as you know, the pandemic has impacted the entire world with supply chain disruptions and a lot of uncertainty for small businesses and large businesses alike. Here in Arizona, we're very fortunate that we are a state that continues to grow. We have a very strong population growth. And our organization really focused on working with a lot of the small businesses to ensure that they understood the protocols as new information was becoming available during the pandemic. Lots of shifts in policies, and we wanted to make sure that we created a robust suite of programs that ultimately provided the business community with the answers they needed, whether it was under financing, where they could attract some additional funds to ensure that they could continue their operations, whether or not there were safety protocols designed to ensure that both their employees and consumers were safe during the pandemic. Clearly a ton of uncertainty, but here in Arizona, we've had a very strong leader in Governor Ducey with a very steady hand, making sure that we're listening to the healthcare professionals to ensure that our community is safe, but also focusing in on livelihood and making sure that we can continue to remain open safely to ensure that our economy would continue to grow.
At my firm, Incentives Management Group, we're seeing a lot of high-tech and automated manufacturing investment from our clients, both in progress and in the exploratory stages today. What does commerce do in Arizona to foster innovation?
Well, Arizona has a very strong and robust innovation ecosystem, and it's thriving because companies are seeking a very supportive environment. And we have designed programs and policies here in Arizona that are very focused on and ensuring that the regulations in our state are not overly burdensome. Our governor has really led an effort to ensure that any regulation on the books that is no longer needed is ultimately repealed. And he's done an amazing job working with our legislature to ensure that we are removing obstacles so that, as you know, with the new innovative technologies, there's so much that needs to be done to ensure that they are in an environment that supports that new innovation. And here in Arizona, we have instituted several programs, a FinTech Sandbox, a PropTech Sandbox. We have the Institute of Automated Mobility. As you mentioned, a lot of activity currently, especially in the automotive industry. We want to make sure that those innovations that are occurring in the industry can be tested here in Arizona. Arizona has seen a tremendous amount of growth around testing of automated mobility, as well as smart city technologies. And so we're embracing all of these new technologies, and we're able to do that because we have a governor and a legislature that is encouraging that level of innovation in our state.
Talk about a couple of those items. You talked about some of the developmental work that you're doing there. I think there were 2 or 3 items that would foster innovation. Can you delve into each of those a little bit?
Absolutely. So when we created the Institute for Automated Mobility, we brought together academia, private sector, and government working together to ensure that we were creating an environment here for those companies to be able to not only test, but develop new technologies and continue to be innovative. So we've got an institute that really embraces the industry's new advancements in technology and allowing them to commercialize those opportunities here in Arizona. We also have a very strong partnership with Science Foundation Arizona, which is a nonprofit organization that is really designed to ensure that there is a collaboration between academia and private sector, again, focused on commercialization. As you know, innovation, if we have new technologies and innovation, it's actually not going to do anything for the economy unless it is commercialized. Right. And here in Arizona, we're focused on removing any regulations and restrictions so that companies can commercialize those technologies, test those technologies. We also have a very exciting program that we started back in 2010 called the Arizona Innovation Challenge. It is geared towards innovative technology, early stage companies who are developing those new technologies. We provide mentorship and funding to those companies. It's a competitive business plan competition. It's one of the largest in the country. We're very excited. We've had over 120 awardees, over about 2,000 applicants, and we're seeing tremendous growth and innovation from those companies.
You also have in ASU one of the largest engineering schools to provide the workforce to support all of that innovation.
Absolutely. It's incredibly exciting to talk about our university system here in Arizona because they are adapting to the needs of business. And we have seen ASU's engineering school grow exponentially. They are currently have about 25,000 engineers enrolled in the program today. About 10 years ago, that number was 7,000. So that exponential growth is meeting the demand of industry. And not only are we seeing more individuals go into engineering at ASU, but we're also seeing a tremendous amount of growth at U of A and NAU as well. So our three universities work incredibly close together and are really tied to the economic development strategy. All three of our university presidents serve on our board, and that was intentional to ensure that our strategy was very much aligned.
Terrific. So workforce development, we've touched on it a little bit here and there in answers that you've given so far, but sum up what you're doing to ensure that there is a strong workforce available for the businesses in Arizona.
Great. Yes, that's a great question because talent is driving every business decision there is today. And here in Arizona, not only are we working very closely with our universities, but our community college system is incredibly focused on working with our businesses to ensure that they've got the right curriculum to match sort of the future needs of their workforce. We established a program, the Arizona Workforce Training Accelerator Partnership for the next generation. And I know that we call it AZ Next.
That's a mouthful.
Yes, it is a mouthful, but it is really focused on ensuring that we have the workforce of the future and working with industry. It's really important for us to hear from industry, to bring them into the strategy so that we're actually producing the talent that they need for the future. In addition to that, the governor announced in his budget that we are going to create an additional 6 advanced manufacturing training centers throughout Arizona. We established what we call Drive 48, which was a pilot program working with our automotive manufacturers in Pinal County and our community college system there, Central Arizona. We brought Central Arizona Community College along with our private sector leaders and developed a hands-on training facility. It is got the state-of-the-art equipment. Students can train there, and then ultimately they end up being employed. We've got this great example with Lucid Motors. They have been able to hire over 1,000 students from that program alone just in the last year. They have been very focused on ensuring that there is a connection between the community colleges and industry to ensure that those workforce needs are being met. What we've decided to do through the governor's leadership is take that model that we created a couple of years ago and now expand that throughout the state. We will be doing another 6 of these training centers all over our state, and then ultimately perhaps we'll end up with 1 in every county. But our focus obviously is to ensure that we're meeting the needs of employers.
That's exciting. I have read, or I maybe saw an interview that you did that talked about some of the benefits that you have on the basis of location and some of the strategies that you employ to enhance that benefit that you have. Talk a little bit about that, about California, Mexico, and Canada, and your relationship or your ability to use those locations to enhance your growth.
You know, here in Arizona, we are strategically located, you know, right next door to California, Mexico, and we have a very, very strong relationship with Canada and the business community in Canada. And we feel that our strategic proximity to these world markets is really a benefit for Arizona. We have a low-cost business environment here. We have highly trained and an abundant workforce, as we just spoke about. And we have the policies in place that really are conducive to helping those companies grow. So our focus has been to really be collaborative and reach beyond our borders to ensure that businesses have access to workforce. They have access to a very strong customer base. And of course, our infrastructure allows us to be able to grow beyond sort of our borders and bringing those companies in. So I believe that with our relationships with Mexico in particular, it was really an exciting opportunity for us to be working closely with them when we actually landed Lucid Motors. That was one of the reasons they selected us here in Arizona, because of our strong relationship with Mexico. Our governor and the governor of Sonora at the time had a very strong relationship and had committed to working together. And as you know, with supply chain opportunities and access to various markets, it's really important that you have that collaborative environment for businesses to succeed. We enjoy the same relationship with Canada, and of course, with all of the companies that have been successful in California. Arizona is this amazing landing spot for many of those because our regulatory environment is very friendly to business. Our tax code is very friendly to business. And as you mentioned, we do have an available and abundant workforce, and that has been very exciting opportunities for us.
Uncertainty is in great abundance these days. How has the state dealt with it purely from a business standpoint? Have you been working with businesses to deal with the uncertainty?
Absolutely. So our focus is, as I mentioned, to grow our economy, working with businesses who are looking to expand their operations, new businesses coming into our state, and early stage companies who are looking to commercialize their technology. And in all of those areas, both large and small businesses do require some level of certainty. Here in Arizona, we can provide that level of certainty by creating a robust set of programs that are meeting their needs. Our focus has really been about listening to the companies to understand where their gaps are, and then ultimately developing programs around those gaps. We have a very strong effort right now focused on supply chain opportunities. We've worked with our manufacturing extension program that is housed here at ACA to ensure that our manufacturing extension program, working with small to medium-sized manufacturers, are connected with the larger manufacturers to ensure that that supply chain exists here in Arizona. Better understanding, and a lot of that uncertainty, as you can imagine, is coming from the pandemic. And our focus has really been about making sure they've got the information they need in order to be successful. So not only have we focused on policy through tax tax policy and regulatory, reducing regulatory issues, but also information and making sure that they're connected to the right partners in our state, the universities, our community colleges, various nonprofits, the cities, working together to really ensure that that uncertainty, or that we can minimize that level of uncertainty for companies.
Sandra, this has been both content packed and enjoyable, and I appreciate your sharing your time and the strategy and the successes that you've had in Arizona. I know you're open for business, and hopefully you'll continue at this great level of success.
Excellent. Thanks so much, Marty. I really appreciate being on your program, and we're here to help in any way. Are you going to be out in Arizona anytime soon?
Don't have any plans right now, but I'm hoping that things will open up and we'll be able to travel a little bit more.
Well, when you come into Arizona, please let us know. We'll make sure that you see the best of Arizona.
Excellent. All right, so I'll take you up on that.
Okay, please do. Okay,
Bye.
thanks. Take care. Bye-bye.